A record number of us are choosing to run our own business and be our own boss, according to new figures.
Yes, the Office of National Statistics says the number of people classed as self-employed has reached a record high of more than 4.5 million.
And there's been a sharp increase already this year. Between January and March, 183,000 people who are out of work started their own business.
That's roughly 2/3 of the total employment rise of 283,000.
So what is making so many people who want to be their own boss? Let's ask two of them. We're joined on the sofa by two people who have, for very different reasons, started their own businesses. Jane Hines, who set up a company making frozen baby food, morning, and Amy Varl, who runs her own property business, morning. Morning to you. Also, Ken Horn is a business startup advisor. Morning. Or let's just start with the reasons why, first of all, you started. Jane, you had a career and everything was going okay, and then what happened?
I was a chartered surveyor actually, and working full-time as a mum. And I had my first daughter, and I was puring cooking every single night. And I just wondered why there wasn't an alternative, as I saw it, to home-cooked food. And I was puring and freezing, so I just thought, why isn't there frozen baby and children's meals out there?
So you saw an opportunity.
Yeah.
It's quite something to see that opportunity and then try and do something about it.
Yes, it is. The first part was easy seeing it, and then doing something about it is a bit more tricky. But I set about just doing my research really, and trying to work out if it was just me spotting the opportunity or if there really was an opportunity out there. And obviously there really was.
Yeah, and Amy, what is your business now?
Yeah, I mean, we work with, we're a property company, and we house people that the councils are not able to house. So a lot of homeless, victims of domestic violence, and it really came about when I worked for local authority myself in housing for many years, and again spotted a gap in the market and thought, well, why are the council not providing this service? And for me, I was a single mother, I had a long-standing health condition, and it made it very difficult to manage a 9-to-5 Monday to Friday job. So self-employment really was a great option for me because it enabled me to really design my own life, and it's been great.
So can I run this idea past you? That one suggestion is that a lot of people are leaving employment, if you like, being employed, to be self-employed, out of necessity rather than choice. Now it sounds to me like both of you made a choice, that it was something that suited you. Is that the case, or was it partly to do with something else?
I think it was twofold really. I enjoyed being a surveyor, but the hours and fitting it around having a young family and everything else, and as I say, just sort of cooking and puring, but I would have had to have gone back full time when I was working for other people and working full time. So it was just an opportunity where I could be with my children, work from home to build my business up.
And Amy, for you?
Yeah, I think it's about having a quality of life, and life is so busy now, and I think people are getting frustrated with when they're working 10-12 hours a day and coming home and looking after children and cooking, and perhaps you want a little bit more from your life. And I know for me that was certainly, I felt there was more out there to be grabbed onto, and it certainly found that there is.
When you're a startup expert, I mean, a lot of people, it would appear, according to these statistics, are doing that. They're working for themselves. Now, there is a finite amount of work out there, albeit that the economy is growing.
Yeah, I think we need to read into the figures a little bit further as well. That given the time of year, we normally see quite a large spike in self-employment around the beginning of the new tax year. So I think you've got to sort of temper the figures in accordance with that. And also, I think it's fairly well documented that people are looking, or employers are looking to engage people on a self-employed basis more than they perhaps are on a full-time employed basis.
They don't like the commitment
because the market, and the economy is still unstable, and therefore, employers are a little bit nervous about re-engaging with employers on a full-time basis.
It's a risky business because many people who are self-employed are not immediately successful.
Yeah, I think there's always a number of challenges. I had a conversation with these guys earlier on when you're first starting a business, and I think behind the figures the challenge is not over here. I think we've got another series of tasks in terms of survival and sustainability, and one of my fears is that 2 or 3 years ago, BusinessLink was axed. and disappeared, field-based qualified support in the market. And unfortunately, that hasn't been replaced. And I was talking to Jane before we came on air, and she agrees that there's an ocean of information out there. Most of it's online, very confusing picture. One of our sort of catchphrases is, provide people with the information they need, but protect them from the information that they don't actually need right now.
Can I just, one of the things that some people have suggested, Ken, is that it's being celebrated generally that so many people are in employment because they're self-employed. Now, the danger is that that's masking something, which is that you could have self-employed people who are working 7 days a week, almost making no money, but they don't appear in any statistics.
I think there's an element of truth in what you mentioned earlier on, in that a lot of employers are a little bit nervous about taking people back on a full-time basis, and therefore that's been picked up by interim or contract managers or people on a self-employed basis. So you're absolutely right that there's an element of the figures, the 183,000 people in the quarter, that will have taken the option of self-employment as an alternative to either part-time or full-time employment.
The reality is, and I don't want to hardly mention it in front of you two, is that people who go and do this, a lot of them go out of business, it doesn't work out well. So what's your key advice?
Well, I think that's another important challenge facing the people that are in my community, is that whilst the number of people starting businesses has increased dramatically over recent years, but I think that the next challenge, of course, is sustainability and survival, and therefore there's still a place. The job is not done. There's still a place to provide these people with the right sort of help and support for those businesses to carry on.
And what are your experiences so far about that support? I mean, what's been your experience?
Yeah, I was really fortunate in the fact that I went through the government startup loan programme, which opened up so many different opportunities for me. I became involved with Business Growth Hub and Business Finance Solutions, and they're organisations which have given me mentoring. I have an amazing mentor who I can't even put into words how much she's thanked me. I've been raving about her in the green room before. So
The question will be, what is your sort of top tip for people who are thinking of leaving a job, becoming self-employed? And you can go first, Ken.
Top tip is, don't worry too much about the nitty-gritty, the formality. Too many times people concentrate on, am I going to be a limited company? What are the tax implications? What's my NI?
Yeah.
Right.
Get the core components right. What's my proposition? Who am I targeting with that proposition? And most importantly, how am I going to communicate one to the other? That's a business.
I think that was about 3, but anyway, you go for it. I'll let you go.
I would say research your idea well.
Yeah.
You've got a good idea, you think it's a good idea, but make sure everyone else thinks it's a good idea, and just do your research before you launch a company.
Yeah, Amy, what have you learned most usefully so far?
I would say, without a doubt, it's essential to build your network. If you don't know how to do something, or you don't know how the answer or where to find the answer, there is always somebody out there who is willing to help you, and B, most people, entrepreneurs, they love to pass their knowledge and their skills on, and there's a whole world of people out there that will push you along your way and help you achieve your dreams.
Well, congratulations on getting your own businesses off the ground. Ken, thank you for your time.